Today's story is one of the most explosive declarations made by a U.S. president in years. A statement that instantly shook Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, and every nation connected to the global drug trade. And it came directly from Donald Trump, speaking at the White House, under the bright lights, in front of every major news network. His message was blunt, simple, and extremely dangerous. Any country that manufactures cocaine or fentanyl and sends it to the United States is subject to attack. That's right. According to Trump, the United States now reserves the right to strike, militarily, against any nation involved in producing these deadly substances. And for many, this sounded less like a political warning and more like a clear military threat. So what does this mean for Mexico, for Colombia, for Venezuela, and for the entire region? Let's break down the full story, the hidden motives, the reactions, and the potential consequences that experts fear could reshape the Americas. Trump's statement came after reporters questioned him about recent U.S. military actions at sea, including attacks on boats allegedly tied to drug operations. What surprised everyone was his answer. He insisted that Venezuela was not the only possible target, and he repeated that anyone producing fentanyl or cocaine for U.S. distribution is subject to attack. No filters, no diplomacy, just raw Trump. He specifically mentioned Mexico, a country he has repeatedly pointed to as a major route for drug trafficking, and then added Colombia, accusing the South American nation of having full cocaine production facilities that sell their cocaine to the United States. He even said, "We appreciate them very much, but anyone doing that and selling it to our country is subject to attack." This comment lit a fire across Latin America. Analysts warn that statements like this risk escalating tensions between nations with deep economic and political ties. Others argue that Trump is using hard talk for domestic support, especially as drug deaths continue to rise in the United States. Whether he intends actual military action or simply wants to project strength is still unclear, but the message is loud enough to echo internationally. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum responded immediately. She firmly rejected the idea of any U.S. intervention, repeating that Mexico will never accept foreign military operations inside its territory. She explained that Trump has repeatedly offered military involvement, and she has rejected it every time, insisting that Mexico handles security issues within its own borders. Mexico's administration wants cooperation, but not intrusion, and Sheinbaum has reiterated that missile attacks, similar to those applied to alleged Venezuelan boats, will not happen on Mexican soil. Her stance remains consistent and firm. Then came a second voice from the U.S. government, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He clarified that the Trump administration does not plan to send troops to Mexico or take unilateral military action. According to him, the U.S. is willing to help, but only if Mexico actually requests it. No invasions, no surprise operations. So what's really going on? Some experts believe Trump is raising pressure to force stronger cooperation against the cartels. Others think he is sending a political message to his base, emphasizing toughness on national security and drug imports. And then there are those who argue that the U.S. may be preparing a more aggressive foreign policy strategy to combat drug-related deaths, which continue to rise sharply year after year. But here's the big question. Is this kind of warning justified, or is it a dangerous move that could destabilize the region? Honestly, what do you think? Do you believe Trump is trying to protect American lives with hard talk, or is he risking unnecessary conflict with neighboring countries? Should the U.S. be allowed to strike foreign soil if drugs arrive from that country, or should diplomacy take priority over military threats? Your opinion matters, because these decisions, if they ever become real, would affect millions of people, families, governments, trade, and even daily life across the border. And public sentiment shapes political momentum more than many realize. So tell me in the comments, do you support Trump's warning? Do you reject it? Or do you think there's a middle path nobody is discussing?